Hi, Darin Mangum here, the PPM Attorney. This is another video in a series of videos that I put out from time to time regarding private placement memorandum uh, best practices when it comes to making an offering of securities with a private placement memorandum. In my past 18 years of experience, I found that um, you know dealing with investors is an art as much as it is a legal requirement. Um, and so today I just want to talk about, how do you keep from an investor suing you, or how do you keep an investor happy? And obviously, the deal has to, in order to be, if the deal is successful, if the deal does really well, you're probably not going to have a lot to worry about. But obviously, when it comes to keeping investors happy, when it comes to avoiding getting into a situation where you have a shareholder lawsuit or an investor that goes sideways on you, I found that it really boils down to three things, and really three things that basically are common sense. Number one, it comes down to it comes down to expectations, communications, and documentation. Just those three things. Um, First off, expectations. Um, Oftentimes, I found that clients, they tend to want to structure their offering to attract the investor, and sometimes they try to go overboard in trying to promise them their cake and they can eat it too, right? They make it so attractive and so awesome that oftentimes that tends to turn an investor off, because yeah, if it seems too good to be true, or if you're too eager to just really do whatever, cater to whatever the investor wants as far as the terms of your offering, then certainly that's a red flag. But when it comes to setting those expectations, even though you, based on your financial forecast, are showing potentially double-digit returns. Maybe your best case scenario is like a 10, 12, 15% type return on investment, and that's your best forecast. Really, it's a matter of setting those expectations. You don't want to sell the investor on those high expectations of a high return. You want to manage those expectations and bring it down to a level where you want to be the hero. You don't want to be the bad guy. You don't want to promise them, hey, 10, 12% return, and then you're only delivering like an 8% return. They're not going to be too happy. Whereas if you went in with lower expectations, saying, hey, this is maybe more, more like a, 7 to 8%, and then if you did happen to hit 8 to 12 or whatever it happens to be, then you're a hero, right? So again, managing those expectations up front, so later you're not having to have a difficult conversation down the road. That's number one. Number two, communications. Pick up the phone. I've learned a long time ago that whether it's me being your attorney, I mean, I always give out my cell phone when it comes to clients and making sure that they have easy access to me. Same goes for your investor. The last thing you want to do is to avoid an investor's phone call and put them off, even if you have bad news, right? It just is not a, even if you have bad news, it's best if you just address it up front. If you try to put it off, or, pass them off to, I've learned if you pass it off to your secretary or some other partner, you don't want to talk to them, you're just asking for trouble. They're just going to get upset, and that's just not the way to do that. The third thing is obviously documentation, right? The proper documentation is critical because oftentimes, not just from a legal standpoint, but even as a practical matter, investor oftentimes, even though they sign all this paperwork, they sign your PPM, they sign your private placement memorandum, subscription agreements, and all that, oftentimes they don't, within a few months or so, they really can't remember the details of what they agreed to. And so having the documentation, have that be in place is obviously a critical item that just needs to be addressed. And so again, those three things, managing and setting those expectations early, ongoing communication with investors, and also obviously having the right documentation in place. So all those are critical components, right? And if you have those in place, even if the deal may not go as well as you think, I mean, you're certainly going to avoid, by having all that in place, you're going to avoid, SEC complaints. You're going to avoid, shareholder lawsuits. Basically, I mean, it kind of comes down to the golden rule, right? Treat each other, treat others the way you want to be treated, right? And so, anyway, those are just some observations that I have. Not really legal. It's not really legal advice. Probably practical advice when it comes to, just the nuts and bolts of dealing with investors through a private placement memorandum. Again, I'm always available on my cell phone. Feel free to give me a call anytime. On my cell phone is 801-787-9072. Or if I don't pick up, I can usually send me a text message and I'll respond to that a little faster. Or you can always shoot me an email at darin@mangumlaw.net or darin@thepPMAttorney.com. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks.